Hail to thee, my kindred. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and night, wherever and whenever you are. Goodness gracious. It is a confusing temperature here. I do not know whether it's gonna get cold or if it's gonna get warm. It felt very cold outside, but inside doesn't feel as cold. Quite the opposite, strangely enough. So, I did drink a couple of warm drinks. One warm drink so far. After I had awoken from my short slumber, my elbow doth hurt for reasons that are understandable. I think I'm maybe doing my push-ups a little wrong, but hey, I don't know how I managed to even do that in the first place, considering they are push-ups and they should not be hard to do in the first place, but... Or I guess it shouldn't be hard to not mess them up. Yeah, I think that's how I'll phrase it. But it is what it is. You cannot complain. Cannot complain if the thing decides to snap like a little twig. I did check which part we were last on, and it was book 6. We're roughly, seemingly going through 3 books of the Iliad at a time. Roughly. It's very rough. I don't know if because sometimes certain books do feel a bit longer than others. So there could be a little bit of a difference in that capacity. We'll see if we get through another 3. Don't know. I have some tea here with me so that I may keep myself quenched and undried. Because if I am dry, then I will perish, and reading would be very difficult to do. As you should know. Let's see, what is this thing? Oh, okay. Right on. Book 6. Interludes in Field and City. No gods, but only Trojans and Achaeans were left now in the great fight on the plain. It swayed this way and that between the rivers, with leveled spears moving in on one another. Finally, I think the last chapter, if I remember correctly, was all just the gods intervening in the fight, and now it's just the Trojans and Achaeans. Good. At last, Telemanus, Achaean bastion on defense, attacked and broke a Trojan mass, showing his men the way by killing the best man of all the Thracians, Acamas, Eusros' brawny son. He hit him on the forecrest, and the spearhead clove his frontal lobe, lodging in his brain, filling his eyes with darkness. Diomedes then slew Axylus Tauthraenides. Wow, yeah, we're already starting with the names. From the walled town Erisbe. A rich man and kindly, he befriended all who passed his manor by the road, but none of these could come between him and destruction now, as the Achaean killed him, killing him with Calesius, his aide and charioteer, leaving 2 dead men to be cloaked in earth. Euryalus killed Dressus and Opheltius, then met the twins Aesopus and Pedasus. Pedasus, that almost sounds like Pegasus. Born by Abarbari, a sea nymph, to Bocolion, son of Laomedon, his first and secret child. When Bocolion served as his shepherd, he had loved the nymph, and she conceived these twins. Wow. I don't know how you managed to do that, but hey. Euryalus now broke their valor, cut them down, and bent to drag from their dead shoulders belted swords and bucklers. Polypotes killed Astylos. Percosius Paethetes fell before the spearhead of Odysseus. Areton fell before Teucros and Antilochus, I think, son of Nestor, brought Ablerus low with 1 spear flesh. Then martial Agamemnon took the life of Elatos, whose home had been in Pedasus upon the height near Satniois River. 90% of this stuff is just unpronounceable. Satniois River. Leitos killed Phylacus as the man turned to him. Eurypylos dispatched Melanthius. But great-lunged Menelaus took a prisoner, Adrestus. Veering wild along the plain, this Trojan's team had caught his hurtling car upon a tamarisk and broke at the joint his chariot pole. The animals then galloped on forward toward Troy with all the rest who panicked, but the driver, flung out of his car head over heels, landed alongside, face down in the dust, and there with his long spear stood Menelaus. Andrestus drew his arms around his knees and begged him, "Son of Atreus, take me alive. You will have all the ransom one could ask, plenty of precious things, gold and silver, and hard wrought iron. Fill my father's home. He would give anything, no end of ransom, if he could only know I am alive along the Achaean ships." Adrestus's plea won his great captors to consent. He thought of granting him safe conduct to the ships by his own runner, when his brother Agamemnon in grim haste came by to bar his mercy and cried, "What now, soft heart? Were you so kindly served at home by Trojans? Why give a curse for them? Oh, Menelaus, once in our hands, not one should squirm away from death's hard fall. No fatigue, not even the man-child carried in a woman's belly." Damn, Agamemnon is really wanting to be in a bit of a bloodlusty mood, huh? No fugitive, not even the man-child carried in a woman's belly. Let them all without distinction perish, every last man of Ilion, without a tear, without a trace. Implacably thus he recalled his brother's mind to duty, and Menelaus pushed away Adrestus. Then Agamemnon speared him in the flank, and he fell backward, stamping with one heel hard on his chest. He disengaged the spear. Now Nestor in a loud voice called to the Argives, "Friends, Danaans, fighters, companions of Ares, no one should linger over booty now, piling up all he can carry to the ships. Now is the time to kill them. Later on, strip them at leisure when they lie here dead." Shouting, he urged them on, and once again the Trojans, overmastered by Achaeans and cowed, would have re-entered Ilion, but Priam's eldest, Helenus, an augur better than any, halted beside Aeneas and Hector, saying, "You two bear the brunt of Lycian and Trojan travail, always in every enterprise, war plans, or battle, first among us all. Take your stand here. Here make our troops hold fast before the gates, rally them everywhere, or back again they go pell-mell into the arms of women, a great day for our enemies." "Put heart into all our men, into every company." Why am I getting... sorry about that. Goodness gracious, phlegm. "Put heart into all our men, into every company, and we can hold this line against Danaans, dead tired as we are. We have no choice, but you go up into the city, Hector. Speak to our mother. Tell her to call together women in age like hers, unlock the shrine of grey-eyed Athena on our citadel, and choose that robe most lovely and luxurious, most to her liking in all women's hall, to place upon Athena's knees. Then heifers, 12, are to be promised to her, unscarred and tender, if she will relent in pity for our men, our wives and children, and keep Diomedes out of holy Troy. He is so savage in pursuit and combat, I call him most formidable of Achaeans now. We never were so afraid of Prince Achilles, and he, they say, came of a goddess. No, this fellow fights like one possessed. No man can equal him in fury." Right, because Athena came down and was like, boom, power, and basically, essentially had given him a godly buff. Had made him quite the capable combatant. Hector agreed and did his brother's bidding, first and last. He vaulted quickly from his chariot, waving his whetted spears high overhead. As up and down he went, arousing war. Then all those in retreat turned in their tracks and stood against the Achaeans, who recoiled before that stand and killed no more. It seemed someone of the immortals out of heaven had come down to put the spirits in the Trojans. They wheeled about so suddenly, and Hector in a great voice called out, "Soldierly Trojans, allies formed abroad, be men, remember courage, defend yourselves, while I go up to Iliad and make our wives and elderly pray the gods with dedication of hecatombs." I do wonder if it's pronounced hecatombs like that, or hecatombs. It's not hecatombs. That would be far too silly. Then Hector turned away. Under his shimmering helm, his long shield slung behind him. Nape and ankle both were brushed by the darkened oxhide rim. Meanwhile, driving into the open space between the armies, Hippolochus' son, Glaucus, and Diomedes advanced upon each other, hot for combat. When the range was short, Diomedes, face to face with him, spoke up. "Young gallant stranger, who are you? I have not noticed you before in battle, never before in the test that brings men honor. But here you will come now, far in front of everyone, with heart enough to risk my beam of spear. A sorrowing old age they have whose children face me in war. If you are a god from heaven, I would not fight with any out of heaven. No long life remained, far from it, for Lycurgus, Dryas' rugged son, when he in his day strove with gods. That time he chased the Maenads on the sacred ridge of Manic Dionysus. On Mount Nisa. Mount Nisa. Bellabored by the ox goad of Lycurgus, killer that he was, they all flung down their ivy staves, while terrified Dionysus plunged under a sea surge. In her arms, Thetis received him, shaking from head to foot, after that yelling man's pursuit. And now the gods whose life is ease turned on Lycurgus. Zeus put out his eyes. His days were numbered, hated by them all. I would not fight, not I, with gods in bliss, but you, if you are a man and mortal, one who feeds on harvest of the grainland, take one step nearer, and before you know it, you will come up against the edge of death. Very long-winded way of saying I'm gonna kill you. Hippolochus' distinguished son reply, "Why ask my birth, Diomedes? Very like leaves upon this earth are the generations of men. Old leaves cast on the ground by wind, young leaves the greening forest bears when spring comes. So mortals pass, one generation flowers even as another dies away. My lineage, if you are really bent on knowing all, and many others know my story, listen. Epirus is a city on the Gulf of Argos. In Ephyra, Sisyphus, Aeolides, the craftiest of men, lived once upon a time and fathered Glaucus, father in turn of Prince Bellerophontes, one to whom the gods had given beauty with charm and bravery. But there came a day when Proitos wished him ill, and Zeus had put him under the power of Proitos. And that strong king now drove Bellerophontes, I think it is, out of Argos. This became Antea, the queen, lusted to couple with him secretly. This because Antea, the queen, lusted to couple with him secretly, but he was honorable. She could not lure him, and in the king's ear hissed a lie. "Oh, Proitos, I wish that you may die unless you kill Bellerophontes. He desires to take me in lust against my will." Rage filled, the king over her slander, but being scrupulous, he shrank from killing him. So into Lycia he sent him, charged to bear a deadly cipher, magical marks Proitos engraved and hid in folded tables. What does that even mean? I do not know. He commanded him to show these to his father-in-law, thinking in this way he should meet his end. Ah, I see. Guided by gods, he sailed and came to Lycia, high country, crossed by Xanthos' running stream. And Lycus' lord received him well. 9 days he honored him. 9 revels led with consecrated beasts. When dawn with rosy fingers eastward made the 10th day bright, he questioned him and asked at length to see what sign he brought him from his son-in-law. When he had read the deadly cipher, changing, he gave his first command. The guest should fight and quell a foaming monster, the chimera, of ghastly and inhumane origin. Sorry, I just was hearing like sounds that were unpleasant, I thought, but no, it was just a bag getting ruffled around. Of ghastly and inhuman origin, her forepart loinish, her tail snakes, a she-goat in between. This sting exhaled in jets of rolling fire. Well, he killed her by taking heed of omens from the gods. His second test was battle with Salimoi, formidable aborigines. He thought this fight the worst he ever had with men. A third mission was to slaughter Amazons, women virile in war. In his return, the king devised yet another trap for him, laying an ambush with picket men of Lycia. But not a single one went home again. Bellerophontes killed them all. His eyes opened at last at the young man's power, godly from godly lineage. The king detained him, offered him his daughter. He gave him, too, a moiety of royal privileges. And Lycians, for their part, set aside their finest land for him, vineyards and ploughland, fertile with wheat fields. The king's daughter bore 3 children to Bellerophontes: Isandros, Hippolochus, and Laodamia. Damea? Zeus the profound lay with Laodamia, who bore Serpedon, one of our great soldiers. But now one day Bellerophontes too incurred the god's wrath, and alone he moped on Ilion's plain, eating his heart out, shunning the beaten track of men. His son Isandros, in a skirmish with Salimoi, met his death at insatiable Ares' hand, and angry Artemis killed Laodamia. I will never know how to pronounce that one correctly, mind you. Hippolochus was who fathered me. I am proud to say, he who sent me here to Troy, commanding me to act always with valor, always to be most noble, never to shame the line of my progenitors, great men, first in Ephyra, then in Lycia. And that is the blood and birth I claim. At death, joy came to Diomedes, loud in battle. With one thrust in the field, where herbs had cropped, he fixed his long spear like a pole and smiled at the young captain, saying gently, "Why, you are my friend, my grandfather. Oeneus made friends of us long years ago. He welcomed Prince Bellerophontes in his hall, his guest, for 20 days. They gave each other beautiful tokens of amity. Grandfather's offerings was a loinguard sewn in purple. Bellerophontes gave a cup of gold, two-handed. It is in my house. I left it there, coming away to Troy. I cannot remember Tydeus, my father. I was still too young when he departed, when the Achaean army came to grief at Thebes. I am your friend, sworn friend, in central Argos. You are mine in Lycia, whenever I may come. So let us keep away from one another's weapons in the spear fights of this war. Trojans aplenty will be left for me, and allies. As gods put them in my path, many Achaeans will be left for you to bring down if you can. Each take the other's battle gear. Let those around us know we have this bond of friendship from our fathers." Well, they're just not gonna fight each other because they're like grandpas and fathers know each other. I suppose these bonds are very much important, storied, something to be honored in the culture, which kinda makes sense. That is how in ancient times you very much held allies for a long time between like nations, or in this case, I suppose nation states. You know, city states. Yeah, city states, not nation states. Sorry, city states. It would be through lineage, essentially. It would be like, oh, your father knows my father, or your grandpa met my grandpa, and then they got all friendly and cool with one another. So that made our father's friend, and that makes us buddies and allies. Both men jumped down then to confirm the pact, taking each other's hand, but Zeus had stolen Glaucus' wits away. The young men gave up golden gear for bronze, took 9 bulls worth of armor, worth 100. Wow. Now, when Hector reached the Scaean Gates, daughters and wives of Trojans rushed to greet him with questions about friends, sons, husband, brothers. I think those bulls were what they needed for the plan that they had? Maybe, if that's what they meant with the sacrifices, I'm unsure. Pray to the gods, he said to each in turn, as grief awaited many. He walked on and into Priam's palace, fair and still, made all of ashlar, with bright colonnades. Inside were 50 rooms of polished stone, one by another, where the sons of Priam slept beside their wives. Apart from these, across an inner court were 12 rooms more, all in one line of polished stone, where slept the sons-in-law of Priam and their wives. Approaching these, he met his gentle mother going in with Laodike, most beautiful of all daughters, both hands clasping his. She looked at him and said, "Why have you come from battle, child? Those fiends, the Achaeans fighting around the town, have worn you out. You come to climb our rock and lift your pomps to Zeus. Wait, and I'll serve you honeyed wine. First you may offer up a drop to Zeus, to the immortal gods, then slake your thirst. Wine will restore a man when he is weary, as you are, fighting to defend your own." Hector answered her, his helmet flashing. "No, my dear mother, ladle me no wine. You'd make my nerves go slack. I'd lose my edge. May I tip wine to Zeus with hands unwashed? I fear too, a battered man and bloody may not address the lord of gloomy cloud. No, it is you I wish to bring together our older women with offerings, and go visit the temple of Athena, hope of soldiers. Pick out a robe most lovely and luxurious, most to your liking, in the women's hall. Place it upon Athena's knees. Assure her a sacrifice of heifers, 12 young ones, ungoaded even in their lives. If in her mercy, relenting toward our town, our wives and children, she keeps Diomedes out of holy Troy. He is a wild beast now in combat and pursuit. Make your way to her shrine. Visit Athena, hope of soldiers. As for me, I go for Paris, to arouse him if he listens. If only earth would swallow him here and now. That an affliction the Olympian brought up for us is in him, a curse for Priam and Priam's children. Could I see that man dwindle into death's night, I feel my soul relieved out of its distress." So Hector spoke, and he walked slowly on into the Megaron. She called her maids, who then assembled women from the city. But Hecabe went down to the low chamber, fragrant with cedar, where her robes were kept, embroidered work by women of Sidonia, Alexandros had brought. That time he sailed and ravished Helen, Princess Pearl of Kings. Hecabe lifted out her loveliest robe, most ample, most luxurious in brocade, and glittering like starlight under all. This offering she carried to Athena with a long line of women in her train. On the Acropolis, Athena's shrine was opened for them by Theanos, stately daughter of Chesius, wife to Antenor, and chosen priestess of Athena. Now all crying loud stretch out their arms in prayer, while Theano, with grace, took up the robe to place it on fair-haired Athena's knees. She made petition then to Zeus's daughter. Lady excellent, goddess, towering friend of Troy, smash Diomedes' lance shaft, throw him hard below the Scaean gates before our eyes. Upon this altar we'll make offering of 12 young heifers never scarred. Only show mercy to our town, mercy to Trojan men, their wives and children. These were Diana's prayers, her vain prayers. Pallas Athena turned away her head. Yeah, this is at this point, like every god is turning away from the battle. For the time being, at least. We don't know how long that'll last. But they've all kind of decided to not be listening to the prayers and gifts, and it doesn't help that each side is sort of doing the same thing, which I can understand as to why they simply would turn away from any prayers. During the supplication at the shrine, Hector approached the beautiful house Alexandros himself had made, with men who in that time were master builders in the land of Troy. Bedchamber, hall, and court in the upper town they built for him near Priam's hall and Hector's. Now Hector dear to Zeus went in, his hand gripping a spear 11 forearms long. That is quite tall. That's almost 11 feet, essentially. If you take a forearm is not a whole foot. I mean, it's longer than a foot, so yeah. It's quite long. Whose bronze head shone before him in the air as shone around the neck a golden ring. He found his brother in the bedchamber, handling a magnificent cuirass and shield and pulling at his bent horn bow. And while Helen among her household women sat nearby, directing needlecraft and splendid weaving. At sight of him, to shame him, Hector said, "Unique soul, why be aggrieved in private? Our troops are dying out there where they fight around our city under our halls. The hue and cry of war because of you comes in like surf upon this town. You'd be at odds with any other man you might see quitting your accursed war. Up into action before torches thrown make the town aflame." And shining like a god, Alexandros replied, "Ah, Hector, this call to order is no more than just. So let me tell you something. Hear me out." I don't know why hearing the words "hear me out" when it comes to the context of an ancient ass story made me giggle. Hear me out. No pettishness, resentment toward the Trojans kept me in this bedchamber so long, but rather my desire, on being routed, to taste grief to the full. In her sweet way, my lady rouses me to fight again, and I myself consider it better so. Victory falls to one man, then another. Wait, while I put on the war god's gear, or else go back, I'll follow, sure to find you. For answer, Hector in his shining helm said not a word, but in low tones enticing Helen murmured, "Brother dear, dear to a horror, a nightmare of a woman. The day my mother gave me to the world, I wish a hurricane blast had torn me away to wild mountains or into tumbling sea to be washed under by a breaking wave before these evil days could come. Or, granted terrible years were in the gods' design, I wish I had a good man for a lover, who knew the sharp tongues and just rage of men. This one, his heart's unsound and always will be, and he will win what he desires. Come here and rest upon this couch with me, dear brother. You are the one afflicted most by harlotry in me and by madness. Our portion all of misery, given by Zeus, that we may live in song for men to come." That's kind of sad. Yeah, I kind of forgot that Helen this entire time is, was it Helen? Forgive me, I am forgetting who's who again. Helen, Troy. Right, she's the one that got yoinked, and this is why the whole war's happening. Correct. I was confused as to why she was referring to to Hector as a brother. But then again, Priam was like, Priam is pretty chill with Helen, he's not show with his son. I remember him referring to her as like a daughter, so like I guess that kind of makes sense now why she's like, come here, brother, like, because it's basically, like brother-in-law, I suppose. Great Hector shook his head, his helmet flashing, and said, "No, Helen, offer me no rest. I know you are fond of me. I cannot rest. Time presses, and I grow impatient now to lend a hand to Trojans in the field who feel a gap when I am gone. Your part can be to urge him. Let him feel the urgency to join me in the city. He has time. I must go home to visit my own people, my own dear wife and my small son. Who knows if I shall be reprieved again to see them, or beaten down under Achaean blows as the immortals will." He turned away and quickly entered his own hall, but found Princess Andromache was not at home. With one nursemaid and her small child, she stood upon the tower of Ilion in tears, bemoaning what she saw. Now Hector halted upon his threshold, calling to the maids, "Tell me at once and clearly, please, my lady Andromache, where has she gone? To see my sister or my brother's wives? Or to Athena's temple? Ladies of Troy are there to make petition to the goddess." The busy mistress of the larder answered, "Hector, to put it clearly as you ask, she did not go to see your sisters, nor your brother's wives, nor to Athena's shrine, where others are petitioning the goddess. Up to the great square tower of Ilion she took her way, because she heard our men were spent in battle by Achaean power. In haste like a madwoman, to the wall she went, and nurse went too, carrying the child." Oh, well, that's not necessarily good to know. Things can happen at the wall very quickly, and I assume Hector is gonna be very, very anxious now. At this word, Hector whirled and left his hall, taking the same path he had come by, along byways, walled lanes, all through the town, until he reached the Scaean gates, whereby before long he would issue on the field. There his warm-hearted lady came to meet him, running. Andromache, whose father, Aetion, once had ruled the land under Mount Placos, dark with forest, at Thebe, under Placos, lord and king of the Cilicians. That is the first I've heard of them. Cilicians. Hector was her lord now, head to foot in bronze, and now she joined him. Behind her came her maid, who held the child against her breast, a rosy baby still, Hectorides, the world's delight, as fresh as a pure shining star. Scamandrius his father and named him. Other men would say Astyanax, lord of the lower town, as Hector single-handed guarded Troy. How brilliantly the warrior smiled in silence, his eyes upon the child. Andromache rested against him, shook away a tear, and pressed his hand on both her own to say, "Oh, my wild one, your bravery will be your own undoing. No pity for our child, poor little one, or me and my sad lot, soon to be deprived of you. Soon Achaeans as one man will set upon you and cut you down. Better for me without you to take cold earth for mantle. No more comfort, no more warmth after you meet your doom, but heartbreak only. Father is dead, and mother. My father, great Achilles, killed. Then he besieged and plundered Thebe, our high town, citadel of Cilicians. He killed him, but reverted, at least in this, did not despoil him. Body, gear, and weapons forged so handsomely. He burned and heaped a barrow over the ashes. Elms were planted around by mountain nymphs of him who bears the storm cloud. Then 7 brothers that I had at home in one day entered death's dark place. Achilles, I guess in the story, Achilles, prince and powerful runner, killed all 7 amid their shambling cattle and silvery sheep. Mother, who had been queen of wooded Placos, he brought with other winnings home and freed her, taking no end of ransom. Artemis the huntress shot her in her father's house. Father and mother, I have none but you, nor brother Hector. Lover, none but you. Be merciful. Stay here upon the tower. Do not bereave your child and widow me. Draw up your troops by the wild fig tree. That way the city lies most open. Men most easily could swarm the wall. There it is, where it is low. 3 times at least their best men tried it there in company of the 2 called Aias, with Idomeneus, the Atreidae, the oh damn that the Atreidae, the Atreidae, Diomedes, whether someone who had it from oracle had told them, or their own hearts urged them on. I need some beverage right now. My mouth is running dry. Great Hector in his shimmering helm answered, Lady, these many things beset my mind no less than yours. But I should die of shame before our Trojan men and noblewomen if, like a coward, I avoid battle. Nor am I moved on. Long ago I learned how to be brave, how to go forward always, and to contend for honor, father's and mine. Honor, for in my heart and soul I know a day will come when ancient Ilion falls, when Priam and the folk of Priam perish. Not by the Trojans' anguish on that day am I so overborne in mind. The pain of Hecabe herself, or Priam king, or of my brothers, many and valorous, who will have fallen in dust before our enemies, as by your own grief, when some armed Achaean takes you in tears, your free life stripped away, before another woman's looms in Argos, it may be you will pass, or at Misses, or Hyperi fountain, carry water against your will, iron and constrain upon you. And seeing you in tears, a man may say, there is the wife of Hector, who fought best of Trojan horsemen when they fought at Troy. So he may say, and you will ache again for one man who will keep you out of bondage. Let me be hidden dark down in my grave before I hear your cry or know you captive. As he said this, Hector held out his arms to take his baby. But the child squirmed around on the nurse's bosom and began to wail, terrified by his father's great war helm and the flashing bronze, the crest with horsehair plume tossed like a living thing at every nod. His father began laughing, and his mother laughed as well. Then from his handsome head Hector lifted off his helm and bent to place it bright with sunlight on the ground. When he had kissed his child and swung him high to dandle him, he said this prayer, O Zeus and all immortals, may this child, my son, become like me a prince among the Trojans. Let him be strong and brave and rule in power at Ilion. Then someday men will say, this fellow is far better than his father. Seeing him home from war, and in his arms the blood-stained gear of some tall warrior slain, making his mother proud. After this prayer, into his dear wife's arm he gave his baby, whom on her fragrant breast she held and cherished. Laughing through her tears, Hector pitied her now. Caressing her, he said, unique soul, do not be too distressed by thoughts of me. You know no man dispatches me into the undergloom against my fate. No mortal either can escape his fate, coward or brave man, once he comes to be. Go home, attend to your own handiwork at loom and spindle, and command the maids to busy themselves too. As for the war, this is for men, all who were born at Ilion, to put their minds on, most of all for me. Well, that's a fair thing to tell your wife. Like don't worry about it. Thinking about it's only gonna make it worse. Just go home, do your thing, keep the maids busy, let the men worry about the war, because they're the ones fighting it at the end of the day. He stooped now to recover his plumed helm, as she, his dear wife, drew away, her head turned and her eyes upon him, brimming tears. She made her way in haste then to the order house of Hector, and rejoined her maids, moving them all to weep at sight of her. In Hector's home they mourned him, living still but not. They feared again to leave the war or be delivered from Achaean fury. Paris in the meantime had not lingered. After he buckled his bright war gear on, he ran through Troy, sure-footed with long strides. Think how a stallion fed on clover and barley, mettlesome, thundering in a stall, may snap his picked rope and centered down a field to bathe as he would daily in the river, glorying in freedom, head held high, with mane over his shoulders flying. His dazzling work of fine jointed knees takes him around the pasture haunts of horses. That was the way the son of Priam, Paris, ran from the height of Pergamus, his gear ablaze like the great sun, and laughed aloud. He sprinted on and quickly met his brother, who was slow to leave the place he had discoursed with his lady. Alexandros was first to speak. "Dear fellow," he said, "have I delayed you, kept you waiting? Have I not come at the right time as you asked?" And Hector in his shimmering helm replied, "My strange brother, no man with justice in him would underrate your handiwork in battle. You have a powerful arm, but you give way too easily and lose interest, lose your will. My heart aches in me when I hear our men, who have such toil of battle in your account, talk of you with contempt. Well, come along. Some day we'll make amends of that. If ever we drive the Achaeans from the land of Troy, if ever Zeus permits us in our hall to set before the gods of heaven, undying and ever young, our wine bowl of deliverance." Now it's the end of book 6, and now we're on book 7. A combat and a rampart. I wonder what'll happen here. Ow. Elbow is still kinda ouchy. Unpleasant. I may have to do my push-ups a little differently or something, because that certainly hurts. As Hector spoke, he came out through the gateway, running with Alexandros beside him, both resolved on battle. Like a wind, a sailing wind, heaven may grant the oarsmen, desperate for it at the polished oars. When they have rowed their hearts out far at sea, so welcome the Trojans in their longing these appeared, and each one killed his man. Alexandros brought down Menestios from Arne, son of Mace-wielder Lord Aretus, and wide-eyed Philomedosa. Hector speared Aeneas under his helm rim, and cut his nape, so that his legs gave way. Young Glaucus too, leader of Lycians, in the rough melee hit Ephinos, Dexiades, just as he swung aboard his fast war car. He rammed him in the shoulder, and down he tumbled from his chariot. Seeing these Argive warriors overthrown in the sharp fighting, grey-eyed Athena came in a gust downward from Olympus peaks to the old town of Troy, and up to meet her from Pergamos, where he surveyed the fight. His heart set on a Trojan victory. Apollo rose. By the great oak they met, and the son of Zeus began. "Down from Olympus to this field again? What passion moves you now? To give Danaans power for a breakthrough? Daughter of Zeus, you waste no pity on the Trojan dead. If you would listen, I know a better plan. Why not arrange an interval in battle? A day's respite. They can fight on tomorrow until they find the end ordained for Iliad. As this is all you goddesses have at heart, to the plundering of this town." The grey-eyed goddess answered, "So be it, archer of heaven. I, too, thought of a truce, on my way down toward Trojans and Achaeans. Only tell me, how do you plan to make them break off battle?" Apollo said, "By firing the spirit of Hector, breaker of wild horses. Let him defy some champion of Danaans to measure spears with him in mortal combat. When they are challenged, let them pick a man to stand up against Hector in his pride." The grey-eyed one did not dissent from this, and Priam's dearest son, Helenos, aware of what these gods were pleased to set afoot, moved over to Hector and accosted him. "Hector, gifted as you are with foresight worthy of Zeus himself, will you consent to my new plan? I tell you as your brother, make all these others, Trojans and Achaeans, rest on their arms, and you yourself defy whoever may be greatest of Achaeans to face you in a duel to the death. Your hour, you know, has not yet come to die. I have it from the gods who live forever. How true is that necessarily? How true is that statement? You just overheard two gods talking, which I don't know how, considering there's battle going on everywhere, but who am I to judge? Maybe he has very good hearing. At this, great Hector's heart beat high. Along the battle line he went, forcing the Trojans back with the lance held up mid-haft. They halted and sank down on their tracks, while Agamemnon brought to a halt Achaeans in their armor. Now Athena rested, with Apollo, god of the silver bow, both gods transformed to hunting birds, perched on the royal oak, of Father Zeus who bears the shield of storm. Here with delight they viewed the sea of men, in closed order at rest, with shields and helms, and lanced ruggedly astir. A west wind rising will cast a rippling roughness over water, a shivering gloom on the clear sea. Just so the seated mass of Trojans and Achaeans rippled along the plain. It's gotta be a lot of dudes. Hector addressed them. Hear me, Trojans and Achaeans. Listen to what I am moved to say. The peace we swore to Lord Zeus' throne on high would not confirm. He has the adversity for both in mind. Until you take high Troy, or are defeated, beaten back to your deep-sea-going ships. Knowing the bravest of Achaeans' hosts are here with you, my pride demands that I engage some champion. Let one come forward, the best man of you all, to fight with Hector, and here is what I say. Zeus be my witness, if with his whetted bronze he cuts me down, my armor he may take away and carry aboard the long-decked ships, not so my body. That must be given to my kin, committed to fire by the Trojans and their women. And if I kill this man, if Lord Apollo grants me victory, his helm and shield I shall unstrap and bring to Iliad to hang before the archer Apollo's shrine. But his dead body I'll restore to your encampment by the well-trimmed ships. Achaeans there may give him funeral and heap a mound for him by Hell's water. One day a man on shipboard, sailing by on the wine-dark sea, will point to landward and say, there is the death mound of ancient man, a hero who fought Hector and was slain. Someone will say that someday, and the honor won by me here will never pass away. He finished, and the Achaeans all sat hushed, ashamed not to respond, afraid to do so until the length Lord Menelaus arose. At length. Why did I say the length, Lord? Until at length Lord Menelaus arose, groaning in disgust, and stormed at them. Oh God, you brave nose-makers, women, not men. Here is disgrace and groveling shame for us if none of the Danaans fight with Hector. May you all rot away to earth and water, sitting tight, safe in your ignominy. In your ignominy. I will myself tie on a breastplate with him. Out of our hands, in the gods, the hands above us, ultimate power over victory lies. Well, Menelaus was not very pleased, it seems. With this he began buckling on his gear, and now, O Menelaus, it seemed foregone. Your end of life was near at Hector's hand, as Hector was far stronger. But Achaean officers in a rush laid hold of him, or laid hold of you. And Agamemnon, lord of the great plains, taking your right hand, said, You've lost your head, my lord. No need for recklessness like this. Galing as it may be, hold on. Give up this wish of emulations for emulation's sake to face a stronger fighter. Everyone else dreads Prince Hector, Priam's son. Even Achilles shivered when for glory he met this man in combat, and he had more driving power than you by far. Go back then, take your seat with fellow countrymen of your command. The Achaeans will put up another champion, and gluttonous though he may be for carnage, with no fear in him, still he'll be relieved if he comes through this deadly fight, no quarter asked or given. Greatly he had recalled his brother's mind to a just sense of duty, and Menelaus complied. His own retainers happily relieved him of his gear. Then Nestor stood up, saying to the Argives, "Ha! What distress for our Achaean land! Now Peleus, the old master of horse, would grieve that noble counselor of Myrmidons." There we go. One day, questioning me in his own hall, he took delight in learning of the Argives' lineage and birth. If he should hear how every man here quails before Hector now, he'd lift his arms to the immortal gods and pray to quit his body, to go down into the house of death. Oh, Father Zeus, Athena, and Apollo, could I be young again as in those days of fighting by the rapids of Caledon between the mustered men of Pylos and the pikemen of Arcadia. Arcadia, I think that's how you say that. Near Pheris walls and Eridanus riverside. Damn, another name. Knuckles, how are you doing? Sackman? Why must you refer to me as Sackman? Where did that come from? That is just rude and plainly insulting. Sack. Sack. That's all you have to say. Why is the phlegm the phlegm in my throat is now starting to bother me. My word drink is halfway through. Hopefully you're doing all right on this Monday, though. Or was I? Erithalion was their champion, and he stood out foremost, magnificent, buckled in Lord Erytheos' arms. Erytheos, the mace wielder, so called by fighting men and by the sumptuous women for using neither bow nor spear. He swung an iron mace to break through ranks in battle. Lycurgos had killed him, but by guile and not by force at all, in a byway so narrow that his mace could not avail him. There Lycurgos, lunging first, had run him through with his long spear and pinned him backward to the ground. He took the arms given to Erithos by Ares, and bore them forward afterward in grinding war. Then Lycurgos, when he aged at home, passed them on to his friend Eurythalion. Equipped with these, he challenged all our best, but all were shaken, full of dread. No one would take the field against him. Well, my pride drove me to take him on with a high heart. Though I was then still youngest of us all, I fought him, and Athena gave me glory. Tallest and toughest of enemies, I killed him, that huge man, and far and wide he sprawled. Would God I had my youth again, my strength intact, Lord Hector would be soon engaged. But you that are the best men of Achaea will not go forward cheerfully to meet him. What a roast. So chided by the old man, volunteers arose then, 9 in all. First on his feet being Lord Marshal Agamemnon, second Diomedes, powerful son of Tydeus, or Tydeus. Tydeus or Tedious? And joining these, those two who were called Aias, rugged, impetuous men, joining these, Idomeneus, and that lord's right-hand man, Meriones, the peer of the battle god, in butchery of war. Along with these, Eurypylus, Euaemon's handsome son, Taus, Andrymonides, and Odysseus. These were all willing to encounter Hector in single combat. Then again they heard from Nestor of Gerenia, charioteer. Hello there, 13. That's a simple name, 13. How are you doing? By lot now, we're all of the one who comes out first. He is the one to make Achaeans proud and make himself too proud if he survives this bitter fight. No quarter asked or given. You're doing good? That's pleasant to hear. Welcome to the sack stream. Why are you referring to this as the sack stream? There's no reason for this to be called the sack stream. There's no sacks involved. It is simply reading. You are a silly man, Knuckles. You are a silly man. Silly and strange. What the hell are you even doing, Knuckles? I know you usually draw or something while you listening on whatever I do. You draw right now? Nice. What are you drawing? It's been posted. Has it now? My elbow still hurts, like, darn. That joint's gonna be a little messed up for the next couple of days. Maybe if I slept a little more, it would heal all nice and well. Father Zeus, let Aias... wait, hold on. Which part was I on? Okay, I was up here. At this, each put his mark upon a stone and dropped it in the helmet of Agamemnon. Meanwhile, the troops addressed the gods in prayer with hands held up. You might have heard one say, his eyes on heaven, Father Zeus, let Aias' pebble jump. Let Aias' pebble jump, or make it Diomedes. Make it the king himself of rich Mycenae. So they murmured. Then Lord Nestor gave the helm a rolling shake and made that stone which they desired leap out, Aias' token. A herald took it around amid the nine, showing the fortunate mark, this way and that, to all the Achaean champions, but none could recognize it or acknowledge it. Only when he had come at length to him who made the sign and dropped it in the helmet, Aias the giant, putting out his hand for what the pausing herald placed upon it, knew his mark. A thrill of joy ran through him. Down at his feet, he tossed the stone and said, Markiplier? What do you mean, Markiplier? Oh, friend, the token's mine, and glad I am, as I believe I can put Hector down. Come, everyone, while I prepare to fight, pray to Lord Zeus and the son of Kronos. Keep it under your breath so Trojans will not hear, or else be open about it. After all, we have no fear of any. No man here will drive me from the field against my will, not by main force, not by a ruse. I hope I was not born and bred on Salamis to be a dunce in battle. Random shade towards Salamis. At this, the soldiers prayed to Zeus. You might have heard one say, his eyes on heaven, Father Zeus, from Ida looking down, looking out for us all, greatest, most glorious. Let Aias win the honor of victory. Or if you care for Hector and are inclined to favor him, then let both men be even in staying power and honor. So they prayed, while Aias made his brazen helmet snug, fitted his shield and sword sharp. He stepped out as formidable as a gigantic Ares, wading into the ranks of men when Zeus drives them to battle in the bloodletting fury. Huge as that, the bastion of Achaeans loomed and grinned, his face a cruel mask, his legs moving in great strides. He shook his long spear doubled by its pointing shadow, and the Argives exulted. Now the Trojans felt a painful trembling in the knees, and even Hector's heart thumped in his chest, but there couldn't be no turning back. He could not slip again into his throng of troops. He was the challenger. Aias came nearer, carrying like a tower his body shield of 7 ox-hide sheaths in bronze. At 7? Damn. Just 7 layers of skin and 1 thing of bronze. Like, that's a lot of ox hides for a shield. A work done for him by the leather master Tychios in Hyle. Tychios made the glittering shield with 7 skins of oxhide and an eighth of plated bronze. Holding the bulk before him, Aias Talaminus came on toward Hector and stood before him. Now he spoke, threatening him. Before long, man to man, Hector, you'll realize that we Danaans have our champions too. I mean, besides the lion-hearted breaker of men Achilles. He lies now by the white-beaked sea-going ships in anger at Lord Marshal Agamemnon, but here are those among us who can face you. Plenty of us. Fight then, if you will. To this, great Hector on his shimmering helmet answered, son of the ancient line of Telamon, Aias, lordly over fighting men. When you try me, you try no callow boy or woman innocent of war. I know, and know well how to fight and how to kill. How to take blows upon the right or left, shifting my guard of tough oxhide in battle. How to charge in a din of chariots, or hand to hand with sword or pike to use timing and footwork in the dance of war. Seeing the man you are, I would not trick you, but let you have it with a straight shot, if luck is with me. Be right back. I don't do anything funny while you're gone. Me? Anything funny? No. I could never do anything funny. Come on now, who do you think I am? I do kind of have to piss though. Rifling his spear, he hurled it and hit Aias. Aias's wondrous shield square on the outer and eighth plate of bronze. The spear had punched its way through this and through the 6 layers, but the 7th oxhide stopped it. Now, in his turn, great Aias made his cast and hit the round shield braced on Hector's arm, piercing the bright shield. The whetted spearhead cut its way into his figured cuirass, ripping his shirt along his flank. But he had twisted and escaped the night of death. Now both men disengaged their spears and fell on one another like man-eating lions or wild boars, no tame household creatures. Hector's lance head scored the tower shield, but failed to pierce it. As the point was bent aside. Makes sense. I mean, he somehow managed to go through almost 8 layers of stuff in his first thrust of that spear, so I don't expect the spear to be a-okay. Then Aias, plunging forward, rammed his spear into the round shield, and the point went through to nick his furious adversary, making a cut that welled dark blood below his ear. But Hector did not slacken, even so. He drew away, and in one powerful hand picked from the plain a boulder lying there, black, rough, and huge, and threw it, hitting Aias's gigantic 7-fold shield square on the boss with a great clang of bronze. Then Aias lifted up a huger stone and whirled. This is turning into just both of their spears not working. Freaking Hector picks up a rock, tosses it at this freaking man's shield. Aias decides to do the same thing, but a bigger rock this time, and tosses it at Hector. And putting immeasurable force behind it when he let it fly, as though he flung a millstone, crushing Hector's shield. The impact caught his knees, so that he tumbled backward behind the bashed-in shield. At once Apollo pulled him to his feet again, and now with drawn swords, toe to toe, they would have doubled strokes on one another, had not those messengers of Zeus and men, the heralds, intervened, one of the Trojans and one of the Achaeans' side, for both Idaeus and Talthybius kept their heads. They held their staves out, parting the contenders, and that experienced man, Idaeus, said, "Enough, lads, no more fighting. The Lord Zeus, assembler of bright clouds, cares for you both. Both are great spearmen, and we all know it. But now already night is coming, and we do well to heed the fall of night," said Aias Telemenus in reply. Idaeus, call on Hector to say as much. He was the one who dared our champions to duel with him. Let him take the lead. Whatever he likes, I am at his disposition. Hector in his shimmering helmet answered, Aias, a powerful great frame you had as a gift from God, and the clear head of all Achaeans, you are toughest with the spear. And this being shown, let us break off our duel, our bloodletting for today. We'll meet again another time, and fight until the unseen power decides between these hosts of ours, awarding one or the other victory. But now already night is coming on, and we do well to heed the fall of night. This way you'll give them festive pleasure there beside the ships, above all to your friends, companions at your side. As for me, as I go through Priam's town tonight, my presence will give joy to Trojan men, and to our women, as in their trailing gowns they throng the place of God with prayers for me. Let us make one another's memorable gifts, and afterwards they'll say among Achaeans and Trojans, those two fought and gave no quarter in close combat, yet they parted as friends. You've returned? Great. That is not how you spell returned, but I think. I'm not sure actually. I am confused. How does one spell returned? Retuned. Retuned. I am gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. goodness. Dude, I was pissing. Like, you ever had so much piss in you that you piss and then your body pauses and then proceeds to piss again? That's how much piss I had to piss. What the hell? The pisser returns. I have returned after the long pissening. Like, it was rather, like, it shocked me. I was like, damn, bro, like hurry up. All right. A little bit of what's left of my drink. Well, I still have like half my mug. Dude, I should put a little mug warmer on my throne because I saw one at the store and I didn't buy it, and it looked pretty nice, and it would be useful in these cold days where my mug will just become the holder of cold liquids in like 10 minutes. There we go. Liquids digested for the most part. More like holder of piss. You find yourself to be quite humorous, don't you, Knuckles? I shall continue. This he said, and lifting off his broadsword, silver-hilted in its sheath, upon the well-cut baldric, made a gift of it, and Aias gave his loin-guard, sewn in purple. Each then turned away. One went to join the Achaean troops, the other joined his Trojans, and all were full of joy to see him come alive, unhurt, delivered from the fury of Aias, whose great hands no man withstood. Almost despairing of him still, they led him into the town. On their side, the Achaeans conducted Aias in his pride of victory to Agamemnon. In the commander's hut, Lord Marshal Agamemnon sacrificed the 5-year ox to the overlord of heaven. Skinned and quartered and cut up in bits, the meat was carefully spitted, roasted well, and taken from the fire. When all the food laid ready, when the soldiers turned from work, they feast to their heart's content, and Lord Agamemnon, ruler of the great plains, gave Aias the long, marrowy cuts of shine. Then, hunger and thirst being dispelled, they heard Lord Nestor first in discourse. The old man had new proposals to elaborate. He whose counsel had been best before, concerned for them, he said, Lord Agamemnon, Prince of Achaea, think of our losses. Many are dead. Their dark blood poured by Ares around Scamander's river, and their souls gone down to undergloom. Therefore at dawn you should suspend all actions by Achaeans. Gathering here, we'll bring the dead men back in wagons drawn by oxen or by mules. These corpses we must fire abaft the ships a short way from the sterns, that each may bear his charred bones to the children of the dead whenever we sail home again. We'll bring earth for a single mound about the fire, common earth from landward. Based on this, a line of ramparts to defend our ships, and troops with gates well fitted in the walls to leave a way out for our chariots. Outside, beyond the walls, we'll dig a moat around the perimeter to hold at bay their teams and men, and break the impetus of Trojans in assault. To this proposal, all the great captains gave assent, and now at the same hour, high in the upper city of Ilion, a Trojan's assembly met in tumult at the gates of Priam. First to speak before them all, clear-eyed Antenor cried out, Trojans, Dardans, and allies, listen to me to what I am moved to say. Bring Argive Helen and the treasure with her, and let us give her back to the Atreidae to take home in the ships. We fight as men proven untrustworthy, truce breakers. I see no outcome favorable to ourselves unless we act as I propose. With this short speech, he took his seat, but Prince Alexandros, husband of the fair-haired beauty Helen, rose and in a sharp tone answered him. What you propose, Antenor, I do not like. You can conceive of better things to say. Or, if you take it seriously, this plan, the gods themselves have made you lose your wits. To all you Trojan handlers of fast horses, here is my speech. I say no to your face. I will not give the woman up, the treasure, all that I once brought from home from Argos, though I will offer willingly, and will end with increment. After this declaration, he took his seat. Then Priam, a son of Dardanus, arose, sage as a god in council, and spoke out in his concern amid them all. Now hear me, Trojans, Dardans, and allies. Listen to what I feel like I must propose. At this hour take your evening meal as always, everywhere in the city. Bear in mind that sentries must be posted, every man alert. Then let Idaeus go at dawn among the decked ships bearing the Atreidae. Agamemnon and Menelaus report of what was said here by Alexandros, because of whom this quarrel began. Then, too, let him make inquiry to this effect. Will they accept a truce in the hard fighting, allowing us to burn our dead? Next day, again we'll fight, until inscrutable power decides between us, giving one side victory. They listened and abided by his words. In companies, the soldiers took their meals, and then at dawn, Idaeus made his way amid the decked ships, finding the Danaans, companions of Ares, gathered in assembly before the bow of Agamemnon's ship. He took his stand among them, calling out, Agamemnon and all princes of Achaia, Priam and the noblemen of Troy directed me to report, and may it please you, the offer of Alexandros, because of whom this quarrel began. The treasure, all that he brought to Troy in his longships, would God he had foundered on the way, he now desires to give back with increment. Menelaus' wife, on the other hand, he has affirmed that he will not restore. Let Trojans urge it as they will. I am directed further to make this inquiry. Will you accept a truce in the hard fighting, allowing us to burn our dead? Next day we'll fight, and until inscrutable power decides between us, given one side victory. He finished, and they all sat hushed and still. At last Diomedes of the great war cry bursts out, Let no man here accept treasure from Alexandros, nor Helen either. Even a child can see the Trojans live already on the edge of doom. The Achaean soldiers all roared aye to this, aroused by Diomedes' words. And Lord Agamemnon responded to Idaeus, Idaeus, there by heaven, you yourself have heard the Achaeans' answer. For my part, I am content with it. As to the dead, I will withhold no decency of burning. A man should spare no pains to see cadavers given as soon as may be after death to purifying flame. Let thundering Zeus, consort of Hera, witness, I give my word. And as he spoke, he gestured with his staff upward toward all the gods. Turning around, Idaeus made his way again to Ilion. Upon the assembly ground, Trojans and Dardans were waiting all together for him to come. So he arrived, and standing in their midst, delivered his report. Then all equipped themselves at once, diving into two working parties, one for timber, one to bring in the dead, and as on the other side, leaving their ships, the Argives labored, gathering firewood and bringing in the dead. Bright Helios had just begun to strike across the plowlands, rising heavenward out of the deep, smooth-flowing ocean stream, when these two groups met in the battlefield, with difficulty distinguishing the dead men one by one. With pails they washed the bloody filth away. Then hot tears fell. As into waiting carts they lifted up their dead. All cries of mourning Priam forbade them. Sick at heart, therefore, in silence, they piled corpses on the pyre and burned it down. Then back they went to Ilion, just so on their side the Achaeans piled dead bodies in their pyre, sick at heart, and burned it down. Then back to their ships they went. Next day, before dawn, in the dim of night, around the pyre, chosen Achaean men assembled to make one mound for all, which common earth brought in from landward. Based on this, they built a wall, a rampart with high towers, to be protection for their ships and men, and well-framed gateways in the wall they made to leave a way out for the chariots. Outside, beyond the wall, they dug a moat and planted it with stakes driven in and pointed. These were the labors of the long-haired carls of Achaia. The long-haired carls. Who are these long-haired carls? I feel like they were probably mentioned. Or that just simply means something that I don't understand. And the gods, arrayed with Zeus, lord of lightning flash, looked down on this great work of the Achaean army. Then he who shakes the mainland and islands, Poseidon, made his comment. Father Zeus, will any man on boundless earth again make known his thought, his plan, to the immortals? Do you not see? The long-haired carls of the Achaean put up a rampart inshore from the ships and ran a moat around, but they would not propitiate us with the glory of hecatombs. The fame of this will be diffused as far as dawn sends light. Men will forget the wall I drudged at with Apollo for Laomedon. Hot with irritation, Zeus replied, By thunder, lord of the wide seas, power, shaking islands and mainland, sulking, you, another god, 100 times feebler than you are in force of hand and spirit, might be worried over this stratagem, this wall. Your own renown is widespread as the light of dawn. Come, look ahead. When the Achaeans take again to their ships and sail for their own land, break up the wall and wash it out to sea, and envelop the whole shore with sand. That way the Achaean wall may vanish from the earth. Why? This is kind of random for Poseidon to just be jealous about. Just, they build like a little fort wall and Poseidon immediately is like, Zeus, they didn't give us hecatombs. No wonder Zeus is always pissy. He's got to deal with this shit all day, every day. So ran their colloquy. The sun went down, and now the Achaean labor was accomplished. Amid their huts they slaughtered beasts and made their evening meal. Wine ships had come ashore from Lemnos, a whole fleet loaded with wine. These ships were sent by Euneus, Aeson's sons, born to the hero by Hypsipyle. To Agamemnon, as to Menelaus, he gave 1,000 measures of the wine for trading, so the troops could barter for it, some with bronze and some with shining iron, others with hides and others with oxen, some with slaves. They made a copious feast, and all night long Achaeans with flowing hair feasted, while the Trojans and their allies likewise made a feast. But all night long Zeus the Profound made thunder overhead, while pondering calamities to come, and men turned pale with fear. Tilting their cups, they poured out wine upon the ground. No man would drink again till he had spilt his cup to heaven's overlord, but at long last they turned to rest and took the gift of sleep. We're now on book 8. The battle swayed by Zeus. Oh boy. In whose favor? Dawn in her saffron robe came spreading light on all the world, and Zeus, who plays in thunder, gathered the gods and on peaked Olympus' height. Then said to the assembly, Listen to me, immortals, every one, and let me make my mood and purpose clear. Let no one, god or goddess, contravene my present edict. All assent to it, that I may get this business done, and quickly. If I catch sight of anyone slipping away with a mind to assist the Danaans or the Trojans, he comes back blasted without ceremony, or else he will be flung out of Olympus into the murk of Tartarus that lies deep down in the underworld. Iron the gates are, brazen the door slab, and the depths from hell as great as heaven's utmost height from earth. You may learn then how far my power puts all gods to shame. Or prove it this way. Out of the zenith hang a golden line, and put your weight on it, all gods and goddesses. You will not budge me earthward out of heaven, not with uh, uh, oh, sorry, my brain is like fizzling out. You will not budge me earthward out of heaven, cannot budge the all highest mighty Zeus, no matter how you try. But let my hand once close to pull that cable, up you come, and with you earth itself comes, and the sea. By one end tied around Olympus' top, could let all the world swing in mid-heaven. This is how far I overwhelm you all, both gods and men. They were all awed and silent. He put it with such power. After a pause, the gray-eyed goddess Athena says, O Zeus, highest and mightiest father of us all, we are all aware of your omnipotence, but all the same we mourn the Achaean spearmen, if they are now to meet hard fate and die. As you command, we shall indeed abstain from battle, merely now and again dropping a word of counsel for the Argives, and that all may not be lost through your displeasure. The driver of clouds smiled and replied, Take heart, dear child, third born of heaven. I do not speak my full intent. With you, I would be gentle. Of course he's gentle. His favorite child, Athena, gets all the damn good treatment. Up to his car, he backed his bronze-shod team of aerial runners, long manes blowing gold. He adorned himself in panoply of gold, then mounted, taking up his golden whip, and lashes his horse onward at full stretch. Midway between the earth and starry heaven, they ran towards Ida, sparkling with cool streams, mother of wild things, and the peak of Gargaron, where are his holy plot and fragrant altar. There Zeus, father of gods and men, reigned in and freed his team, diffusing cloud about them, while glorying upon the crest he sat to view the far-off scene below, Achaean ships and Trojan city. At that hour, Achaean fighting men with flowing hair took a meal by their huts and armed themselves. The Trojans, too, on their side in the city, mustered under arms, though fewer, still resolved by dire need to fight the battle for wives and children's sake. Now all the gates were flung wide, and the Trojan army sortied, charioteers and foot, in a rising roar. When the two masses met on the battle line, they ground their shields together, crossing spears with might of men in armor. Round the shield bosses rang on each other in the clashing din, and groans mingled with shouts of triumph rose from those who died and those who killed. The field ran rivulets of blood. Vor? I did not say vor. Do you mishear me, child of man? You certainly mishear me. I did not say vor. Rising roar, you fool. Not rising vor. You open up your ears, you hear me? You little freak. You wish I would say rising vor. That would please you most, wouldn't it? My nose needs the ability to take in oxygen. 1 second. There we go. That's a little better. While the fair day waxed in heat through all the morning hours, missiles from both sank home and men went down, until when Helios bestrode mid-heaven, and Father cleared his golden scales, therein 2 destinies of death's long pain he set for Trojan horsemen and Achaean soldiers, and held the scales up by the midpoint. Slowly, one pan sank with death's day for Achaeans. Zeus erupted in thunder from Ida, which is Olympus. I guess that's just another name for Olympus, with burning flashes of lightning against the Achaean army, dazing them all. Now white-faced terror seized them. Neither Idomeneus nor Agamemnon held his ground, and neither Aias held, the tall one nor the short one. I kind of forget that's how they're described, the Aiases, because they're like 2 brothers who have the same name are referred to as the tall one and the short one. Peers of war, only the old lord of western approaches, Nestor, stayed in place. Not that in fact he willed to. No, one horse had been disabled by Alexandros, whose arrow hit him high, just at the spot most vulnerable, where the springing mane begins. The beast reared in agony, for the point entered his brain, and round he floundered, fixed by the bronzen point, making havoc among the horses, while the old man hacked to cut away the trace horse with his sword. Amid the rout, Lord Hector's team appeared, and the car that bore the fierce man. Soon enough, old Nestor would have perished in that place, had not Diomedes of the great war cry seen Hector coming. With a tremendous shout, he tried to rouse Odysseus, and called to him, "Where are you off to, turning tail like a dog, son of Laertes and the gods of old? Odysseus, master mariner and soldier, someone's lance might nail you from behind between the shoulders, God forfend. Hold on with me and to fight this wild man off the old man's back." Odysseus did not hear him, as he ran far wide of him and seaward towards the ships. Then, single-handed, Diomedes joined the melee forward of the old man's horses and called to him in a piercing voice, "Old man, they have you in a bad way, these young Trojans. Age bears hard on you, your strength is going, your groom is wobbly, and your beasts are spent. Here, mount my chariot, and see how fast the horses are in the line of Tros. They know this Trojan plain, and how to wheel upon it this way and that way in pursuit or flight. I had this team as booty from Aeneas, and they are masters of stampeding troops. Let the men take over yours, while we two drive these on the Trojans. Hector will find my spear is mad for battle, like his own." Lord Nestor of Gerenia, master of chariots, did not refuse. His team was taken in hand by Sthenelus, and noble Eurymedon. Boarding the car alongside Diomedes, Lord Nestor took the reins and whipped the horses forward until they came in range of Hector. As Hector drove upon them at full speed, then Diomedes made his throw. He missed his man but hit the charioteer. Eniopius, son of Thebaeus, hit him squarely just beside the nipple, so that he tumbled backward, and his horses shied away as the man died where he fell. Now a cold gloom of grief passed over Hector, and anger for the driver. Still, he left him and wheeled to spot a replacement. But his team would not be driverless more than an instant, for soon he came on give me a second with this particular name. Archiptolemus, Iphitus' son, and took him on, giving him reins and horses. Now at the hands of Diomedes, there might soon have been a ruin of Trojans, irreversible rout, and Ilion crowded like a shepherd's pen, had not the father of gods and men perceived it. Thundering, he let fly a white-hot bolt and that lit in front of Diomedes' horse, and blazed up terribly with a sulfur fume. The team quailed, cowering against the chariot, and the flash reins ran out of Nestor's hand. His heart failed him, and he said to Diomedes, "Give way now. Get the team to pull us out. Do you not realize the power from Zeus is being denied you? Glory goes today to Hector by favor of the son of Cronos. Another day he may bestow it on us if he only will. No man defends himself against the mind of Zeus, even the ruggedest of champions. His power is beyond us." Diomedes, Lord of the war cried, answered, "All that you say is right enough, old man, but here atrocious pain low in my chest about my heart when I imagine Hector among the Trojans, telling them one day Diomedes made for the ships with me behind him. That's the way he'll put it. May broad earth yearn for me to then and hide me." So he basically said, man, I'm gonna hate it so much that he starts yapping on that I'm gonna wish I was dead. A little dramatic, but all soldiers of the ancient times were effectively drama queens. At least the noble ones. I guess the typical farmer may have been a little less dramatic. Nestor said, "Aye, Diomedes, keep your head with talk." And what talk? Even if Hector calls you a coward, he cannot make them think so. Trojans or Dardans, no, nor the Trojan soldiers' wives who saw their fine men in dust, dead at your hands. Then Nestor whipped the horses into a turn and joined the rout. With a wild yell behind them, Hector and his men let fly with spears and grievous arrows in a shower. And Hector, towering in his bright helm, shouted, "O Diomedes, once Achaean skirmishers give you the place of honor, hearts of the roast, cups brimming full, but they'll despise you now, turned woman after all. You empty doll, ride on. Never will I give way to you, and never will you climb hand over hand upon our ramparts, or load our women in your ships. You face your doom for me." Hearing this, Diomedes hesitated, and had half a mind to wheel his horses face around and fight. 3 times he put it to himself. 3 times from Ida's mountaintop, great Zeus, who views the wide world, thundered as a sign to Trojans, and that now the tide of battle swung to them. And Hector could be heard among them shouting, "Trojans, Lycians, Dardans, fighters all, be men, friends, keep your driving power. I know now that Zeus has accorded me victory and glory, and the Danaans bloody defeat. What fools to build that wall, soft earth and no barrier. It will not stop me. Our horses in one jump can take the ditch. But when I reach the decked ships, one of you remember to bring incendiary torches burning, so I can set the ships afire and kill the Argives around them, blind with smoke." Then he spoke to his team. "Tawny and Whitefoot, Dusky and Dapple, now is the time to pay for all the delicate feeding by Andromache. The honey-hearted grain she served, the wine she mixed for you to drink when you desired. Before me, though I am her own true husband. Press the Achaeans hard. Give all you have, and we may capture Nestor's shield, whose fame had gone abroad to the sky's rim. All in gold, they say it's plated. Crossbars, too. Then, too, remember the enameled cuirass worn by Diomedes, crafted by Hephaestus. If he can take these arms, I have a chance to drive the Achaeans aboard ship tonight." He is very much... Skyrim? He said Skyrim. Shaq, clip that. No, don't you... Don't you clip that. It is not my fault, okay? That is what they said. Todd Howard was mentioned. Todd Howard, Easter egg in ancient Greece? Or I guess ancient Turkey / ancient Greece? It's a little difficult to tell. I kind of forget that, like, Troy was in Turkey, technically. Whoever wrote this book was a true Skyrim head. All of this story was just an excuse to mention Skyrim, absolutely. Where was I? While he appealed to them, Queen Hera tossed with rancor and indignation in her share, making mighty Olympus quake, and said into Poseidon's ear, "Oh, what a pity! God of the wide sea, shaker of the islands, are you not moved to see Danaans perish, who send so many and lovely gifts to you at Helike and Aegea? I don't know how to pronounce that one, I'm not gonna lie. Aigai? You had wished them victory. If only we who take the Achaean side would have the will to fight, to repel the Trojan and keep Zeus away. There he might sit and fret alone on Ida." But Earthshaker growled at her in anger. "Hera, mistress of Babel that you are, what empty-headed talk is this? I will not dream of pitting all the rest of us against Lord Zeus. He overmasters all." That ended their exchange. Meanwhile, below and inland from the ships, the strip of shore enclosed by moat and rampart now was thronged with chariots and men rolled back by whirlwinds. Ares' peer, the son of Priam, as glory shone on him from Zeus, and soon he would have set the ships ablaze had not a thought from Hera come to Agamemnon to rouse himself and rally his Achaeans. Along the lines of huts and ships he came, holding a purple cloak in his great hand, and stood beside the black, wide-bellied ship of Lord Odysseus. Midway in the line this ship was placed. One there could send his voice as far as Telammonia, Aias, camp at one another, or Achilles at the other, for these hard drawn their ships up on the flanks, rallying on their valor and force of arms. Agamemnon harangued reached with all his troop. Shame, shame, you pack of dogs! You only looked well. What has become of all your fighting words? All that brave talk I heard from you in Lemnos, when you were feasting on thick beef and drinking bowls abrim with wine? Then every man could take on the Trojans by the 100. Now we are no match for one of them, for Hector. He will set our black ships afire, and soon, O Father Zeus, what great prince before this have you so blinded in disastrous folly, taking his glory and his pride away? And yet no altar of yours did I pass by, not one, in my mad voyage this way in the ship. On every one I burned thigh flesh and fat, in hopes to take walled Troy by storm. Ah, Zeus, grant me this boon. Let us at least escape the worst. Do not allow the Trojans to crush the Achaeans, as it seems they will. So what have I taken away from this book? Don't steal another man's wife, or else you're gonna be stuck fighting a war forever. That's what I've learned so far. One, the gods will very much flip-flop, themselves onto each respective side, and then Zeus might also intervene a couple of times, and then decide that nobody should intervene, and then people intervene anyways. That is what I've learned thus far, which, is in line with the gods. They are kind of assholes. Last I checked, anyhow. The father on Ida pitied the weeping man and nodded. His main army should be saved, and Zeus that instant launched above the field the most pretentious of all birds and eagles, pinning in his talons a tender fawn. He dropped it near the beautiful altar of Zeus, where the Achaeans made their offerings to Zeus of omens, and beholding this, knowing the eagle had come down from Zeus, they flung themselves upon the Trojans with joy renewed in battle. Of all Danaans, as many as were crowded there, not one could say he drove his team across the moat and faced the enemy before Diomedes. Far out ahead of all he killed his man, Agelaus, Prademon's son. As this man wheeled his chariot in retreat, the spear went into him between the shoulder blades and through his chest. He toppled, and his armor clanged upon him. After Diomedes came the Atreidae, Agamemnon and Menelaus, and then the two named Aias, jacketed with brawn. Then came Idomeneus and his lieutenant Meriones. I almost said something else. I don't know what I almost said other than Meriones, but maybe mayonnaise. I almost said mayonnaise, I think. Peers of Anielios, the god of slaughter. After these, Eurypylus, Euamon's son, and ninth in order, Teucros. His bow bent hard and strong. He took his stand behind the shield of Telamonian Aias, and Aias would put up his shield a bit. Beneath it, the archer would take aim, and when his shot went home, his enemy perished on the spot, while he ducked back to Aias' flank the way a boy does to his mother, and with his shield, Aias concealed him. Whom did he hit first? Orsilochus and Ormenos, Philotes, Diator, and Chromios. and Lycophontes. He hit a lot of guys, okay? He hit a lot of guys. Amopaon, Polyamonides, Melanippos, one after another he brought them down upon the cattle pasturing earth, and martial Agamemnon exulted to see him slash the Trojans' ranks with shots from his tough bow. He moved over nearby and said to him, Teucros, good soldier, and leader that you are, that is the way to shoot. Your marksmanship will be a gleam of pride for the Danaans, and for your father too, for Telamon. He reared you at home despite your bastard birth. Now distant as he is, lift him to glory, and I can tell you how the case will be. If Zeus be on the storm cloud, and Athena allow me ever to storm and pillage Troy, I pledge a gift to you, next after mine, a tripod or a team with car, or else a woman who will sleep with you. To this the noble Teucros answered, Agamemnon, Excellency, I am doing all I can. No point in promising things to cheer me on. As long as I have it in me, I will never quit. No, from the time we held and pushed them back on Ilion, I have watched here with my bow for openings to kill them. 8 good shots I've had by now with my barbed shafts, and all on target in the flesh of men. But that mad dog I cannot hit. So saying, he let one arrow more leap from the string in passionate hope to knock Lord Hector down. He missed once more, but did hit in the chest a noble son of Priam, Gorgythion, whom Castianera of Esime bore, a woman tall in beauty as a goddess, fallen on one side as on the stalk a poppy falls, weighed down by showering spring beneath his helmet's weight. His head sank down. Then Teucros, aiming hard at Hector, let an arrow leap from the string, and yet again he missed. This time Apollo nudged its flight towards Archeptolemus, driver to Hector, as he came on. See what I mean? Like, the gods just be playing favorites. They just be like, whoop, nope, you're not gonna hit. Unironically, just rage baiting. Rage baiting poor Teucros as he just attempts to shoot Hector again and again. Oh, poor guy. It struck him in the nipple. Down he tumbled from the car, his horses shying back as the man died where he fell. A gloom passed over Hector for his driver, but angered as he was, he left him there, and he called out to his brother, Cabriones, to take the reins. As he did so, Lord Hector sprang out from the glittering chariot with a savage cry, picked up a stone, and ran for Teucros in a fury to strike him down. Out of his quiver, the cool archer drew one more keen arrow, fitting it to the string. But even as he pulled it back, Lord Hector cast a rough stone and caught him in the shoulder, just at the collarbone. Youch. That frail crossbeam that separates the chest and throat. A tendon snapped, the archer's arm went limp. He dropped to one knee, and his bow fell. Now great Aias, seeing his brother fallen, threw himself forward to give him cover with his shield, and Mecistius and brave Alastor. Alastor? I didn't know that was a name from back then. 2 of Aias's men reached under him and bore him groaning towards the ships. Yikes, well, he's not going to be able to shoot an arrow anymore, I think, if the tendon broke with a rock of all things. Hector really must have been real mad to toss that thing extremely hard. The Olympian, again at this, put his heart into the Trojans, and straight into the moat they drove the Achaeans. Hector, elated, leading the attack. You know the way a hunting dog will harry a wild boar or a lion after a chase and try to nip him from behind to fasten on flank or rump, alert for an opening as the quarry turns and turns. Darting like that, Hector harried the long-haired men of Achaea, killing off stragglers one by one, and when the main mass had got through the stakes and ditch, many had perished at the Trojans' hands. Now at the ships they tried to stand and fight, and shouted to each other, calling out with hands held high to all the gods as well, as Hector drove his beautiful team around them, blazing eyes as a Gorgon or Ares, bane of men. When they say team, I don't know if you guys know this. Alistair? Alistair? Maybe. I do not know the exact pronunciation. But it sounds a lot just like Alistair. Like, which isn't a common name nowadays, but, you know, it's still a name that exists. Maybe it is Alistair. I wouldn't know. What do you know? Very little, apparently. Very little. It's a cool name. It is. Quite so. A lot of these names are kind of cool. They're just difficult to pronounce. I do want to hear somebody who knows how to pronounce these names pronounce them, because I think I have some of them kind of correct, at least in the, like, how do you say, anglicized manner. Like Odysseus, I know it's not technically pronounced Odysseus, but, you know, that's the English pronunciation, I suppose, of his name. A lot of these names, though, are very hard to pronounce in just a normal English fashion. But Hera, looking down, was touched by the sight and said to Athena, daughter of Zeus who bears the storm cloud, can it be that we'll no longer care for the Danaans in their extremity? All is fulfilled to the bitter end. They are being cut to pieces under one man's attack. No one can hold him, the son of Priam, in his battle fury, adding slaughter to slaughter. Grey-eyed Athena answered, death twice over to this Trojan. Let him be broken at the Argives' hands. Give up his breath in his own land and perish. My father now is full of a black madness, evil and perverse. All that I strive for he brings to nothing. He will not remember how many times I intervened to save his son, worn out in the trials to set by Eurystheus. How Hercules would cry to heaven, and Zeus would send me out of heaven to be his shield. Had I foreseen this day, that time he went down, bidden by Eurystheus, between death's narrow gates, to bring from Erebus the watchdog of the Lord of Undergloom, he never would have left the gorge of Styx. Now Zeus not only scorns me, he performs that what Titus wills. She kisses his knees, she begs him to give back honor to that stormer of towns, Achilles. But in time to come, he'll call me dear Grey Eyes again, harness the team for us, while I go in to get my battle gear in Zeus's halls. Then let me see if Hector in his flashing helm exults when we appear on the precarious field, or if a certain Trojan, fallen by the ship ways, gluts the dogs and birds with flesh and fat. Athena sounds kinda pissed off, not gonna lie. One of the characters from a game is called Alistair. From a game? Which game would that be? And Knuckles saying, I bet you don't know how to read. I don't. I'm just actually, you're right. I'm not actually reading from the paper here. I am actually just remembering the story as it was told to me and then recanting it to you. That's how this is going down. Fallout 3? Really? I don't think well, have I played Fallout 3? I don't know if I have. It's from Epic Conquest, a mobile game? I see. I don't think I've ever heard of that one. Hera, whose arms are white as ivory, attended to her horses, their heads nodding in frontlets of pure gold. The eldest goddess Hera, daughter of Kronos, harnessed them. Meanwhile, Athena, at her father's door, let fall the robe her own hands had embroidered, and pulled over her head a shirt of Zeus. Armor of grievous war she buckled on, stepped in the fiery car, caught up her spear, that massive spear which this child of power can break in rage along long lines of fighters. Hera flicked at the horse with her whip, and moving of themselves the gates of heaven grated a rumbling tone. Their keepers are the hours by whom great heaven and Olympus may be disclosed or shut with the looming cloud. Between the gates, the goddesses drove on. Yeah, Alistair Tenpenny, the old man on the big tower that shoots poor people. Oh, isn't he the one that wants you to nuke, what's that town called? He's the one that wants you to set off the nuke, right? Officer Tenpenny? Yeah, okay, he's yeah, he's like the crazy little old man that's just like, yeah, I don't like looking at that town over there. It ruins the scenery. You know, can you take care of that? Crazy fucker. Zeus, looking out from Ida, terribly angered, roused his passengers, Iris of golden wings, and said, "Away with you! Turn them around! Allow them no way through! It is not well that we should come together in this battle, but if we do, I swear I shall hamstring their horses' legs, toss the riders from their car, and the chariot I'll break to pieces. Not in 10 long years will their concussions from that lightning stroke be healed. Let Grey Eyes realize the peril of going into battle with her father. I cannot be furious with Hera. She balks me from sheer habit. Say what I will." A rare moment where Zeus isn't inherently pissed off at I almost said Sarah. At Hera. Wild. But okay, it is, he's still bad mouthing his own wife like that. He's like, I can't even be mad because this is just what she does. Legendary antagonist in GTA San Andreas, legendary antagonist in another game. I see. Have I played? I also haven't played San Andreas. I know of it, and I'm pretty sure people I've known have played it. But I do not believe I've played it myself. I think the only GTA I've played in full was 4. Was it 4? Yeah. 4 was the one with Nico, right? I'm not losing my mind. Nico Bellic, I think was his name. At his command, his emissary Iris, who runs on rainy wind from Ida's range, went up to Grand Olympus at the gate of that snowy craggy mountain where she met them. She held them back and spoke the words of Zeus. The one from Nico is GTA 4. Okay. Thank you. And where are you going? Have you lost your mind? The son of Kronos does not countenance aid to the Argives. Here is the penalty he threats to impose, and will impose. Your horses will be crippled. First of all, to then toss you both out of the chariots and break it into pieces. Not in 10 years can what you suffer from the lightning stroke be healed. So, Grey Eyes, you may learn the peril of doing battle with your father. With Hera he cannot be so furious. Her habit is to balk him, say what he will. But as for you, you are a brazen bitch if you dare lift your towering spear against him. God damn. A brazen bitch. Okay. I was not expecting such trash talk. When she had finished, Iris departed swiftly, and Hera said to Athena, "Very upsetting. I cannot now consent, I am afraid, that we make war with Zeus over mankind. No, let them live or die as it befalls them. Let him be arbiter as he desires, between Danaans and Trojans. It is true his majesty." And she turned the horses back, then acting for the goddess, the hours unharnessed those fine horses with long manes and tied them up at their ambrosial troughs. Against the glittering wall they stood the car, its tilted pole upended, and the goddesses rested on golden chairs amid the gods, with hearts still beating high. Now Father Zeus from Ida to Olympus drove his chariot back to the resting place of gods. For him, the illustrious one who makes the islands tremble freed the team, spread out a chariot housing, and drew the car up on a central stand. The Zeus who views the wide world took his share, his golden share, as underfoot the mighty mountain of Olympus quake. Alone, apart, sat Hera and Athena, speaking never a word to him. He knew their mood and said, Athena, why so gloomy? And Hera, why? In war, where men win glory, you have not had to toil to bring down Trojans for whom both hold an everlasting grudge. Such is my animus, and so inexorable my hands that all the gods upon Olympus could not in any case deflect or turn them. Fear shook your gracious knees before you saw the nightmare acts of warfare. I can tell you why, and what defeat was sure to come of it. No riding in your chariot back to Olympus, back to your seats here, after my lightning bolt. Zeus fell silent, and they murmured low, Athena and Hera putting their heads together, meditating the Trojans' fall. Athena held her peace towards Zeus, though a fierce rancor pervaded her. Hera could not contain it, and burst out to him, Fearsome as you are, why take that tone with goddesses, my lord? We are well aware how far from weak you are, but we mourn still for the Achaean spearmen if they are now to meet hard fate and die. As you command, we shall indeed abstain from battle, merely now and again dropping a word of counsel to the Argives, that all may not be lost through your displeasure. Then Zeus, who gathered storm clouds, replied to her, At dawn tomorrow you will see still more, and with my wide-eyed lady, if you care to see the Lord Zeus in high rage, scything that army of Argive spearmen down, for Hector shall not give his prowess respite from the war until the marvelous runner, son of Peleus, rouses beside his ship. Then, when near at hand, around the stern in a desperate narrow place, they fight over Patroclus dead. That way the will of heaven lies. You and your anger do not affect me. You may betake yourself to the utmost margin of earth and sea, where Iphitos and Kronos rest, and never bask in the rays of Helios, who moves all the day in heaven, nor rejoice in winds, but lie submerged in Tartarus. You too may roam that far, you bitch unparalleled. I'll be indifferent still to your bad temper. Jesus. First it was Athena getting called a bitch, now it's Hera getting called a bitch. Yikes. Hera, whose arms are white as ivory, made no reply. Now in the western ocean, the shining sun dipped, drawing dark night on over the kind grain-bearing earth. A sundown far from desired by Trojans, but the night came thrice besought and blessed by the Achaeans. Hector at once called Trojans to assembly, leading the way back by night back from the ships to an empty field beside the eddying river, a space that seemed free of the dead. The living halted and dismounted here to listen to a speech by Hector, dear to Zeus. He held his lance erect, 11 forearms long, with bronze point shining in the air before him, as shone around the shank a golden ring. Leaning on this, he spoke amid the Trojans. Hear me, Trojans, Dardans, and allies. By this time I had thought we might retire to windy Iliad, after we had destroyed Achaeans and their ships, but the night's gloom came before we finished. That has saved them, Argives and ships, at the sea's edge near the surf. All right then, let us bow to the black night and make an evening feast. From the chariot poles unyoke the teams, toss fodder out for them. Bring down beeves and fat sheep from the city, and lose no time about it. Amber wine and wheaten bread, too, from our halls. Go, gather piles of firewood, so that all night long, until the firstborn dawn, our many fires shall burn and send the heavens their leaping light, that not by night shall the unshorn Achaeans get away on the broad back of the sea. Not by night, and not without combat either, taking ship easily, but let there be those who take homeward missiles to digest, hit hard by arrows or by spears as they shove off and leap aboard. And let the next man hate the thought of waging painful war on Trojan master horsemen. Honored criers throughout our town shall publish this command. Old men with hoary brows and striplings all camp out tonight upon the ancient towers. Women in every megaron kindle free fires. I almost said fries. Kindle fires, and every sentry keep a steady watch against the night raid on the city, while my troops are in the field. These dispositions, Trojans, are to be taken as I command, and may what I have I said tonight be salutary. Likewise, what I shall say at dawn, I hope with prayer to Zeus and other immortal gods, we shall repulse the dogs of war and death brought on us in the black ships. Aye, this night will guard ourselves towards morning arm again, and wet against the ships the edge of war. I'll see if Diomedes has the power to force me from the ships back on the rampart, or if I kill him and take home his gear, wet with his blood. We will show bravery tomorrow if we face my spear advancing. In the first rank, I think, wounded he'll lie, with plenty of his friends lying around him at sunput in the morning. Would I were sure of being immortal, ageless as my days, and reverence like Athena and Apollo, as it is sure this day will bring defeat on those of Argos. That's a long-winded speech. This was the speech of Hector, and cheers rang out from the Trojans after it. They led from under the yokes their sweating teams, tethering each beside his chariot, then brought down from the city beeves and sheeps in all haste. Brought down wine and bread as well out of their halls. They piled up firewood and carried out full tally hecatombs to their immortals. Off the plains, the wind bore smoke and savor of roasts into the sky. Then on the perilous open ground of war, in brave expectancy they lay all night, while many campfires burned. As when in heaven principal stars shine out around the moon, when the night sky is limpid, with no wind, and all the lookouts, points, headlands, and mountains clearings are distinctly seen, as though pure space had broken through the downward. Sorry, let me restart that sentence again. That is a long one. As when in heaven principal stars shine out around the moon, when the night sky is limpid, with no wind, and all the lookout points, headlands, and mountain clearings are distinctly seen, as though pure space had broken through downward from heaven, and all the stars are out, and in his heart the shepherds sing. Just so from ships to river shone before Iliad the Trojan fires. There were 1,000 burning in the plain, and round each one lay 50 men in firelight, though horses shamped white barley near the chariots, waiting for dawn to mount her lovely share. Limp dick? No! Not limp dick. You foolish little man. I'm tempted to stop here because I do want to keep up the 3 books at a time thing. We went from 3... Right, book 3, 4, 5... No, 6. 6, 7, 8... 6, 7, 8. So yeah, we can stop here for the day, I think. Let me stretch out a little bit. Ooh. Goodness gracious. I'm glad that you guys still, decide to stick around. Even if you are all not necessarily the most entertained by these readings, I do want to, keep the story going until it is done. I don't know how many books it is in total. I think 20-something? Each book being essentially a chapter. 20-something, I believe. Then I'm gonna have to figure out the story that happens before the Iliad, because I was hoping to start technically from the actual beginning where, they're at the, because most people know the story starts basically from the point where they're in Sparta, and all that stuff is going on, and all the people of Greece make promises that, I think, how is it that it starts? Basically, they all make promises, like a bunch of noblemen make promises that because they all wanted Helen, they all have to swear that because they get the chance to try and woo her, that they should all come to the aid of her and her husband, whoever is chosen. I think it was actually Odysseus who came up with this plan, and he passed it on to Helen's father. And basically was like, hey, if you get everybody to promise not to throw hands, and should they want to try and court Helen, then, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about pissing off anybody because they'll all be sworn to protect Helen and by extension you and the husband and whoever is chosen. Something like that. I don't know which story that is, though. That is the thing. Figure out these. I will not figure out these, Knuckles. I will not do that. Anyhow, I do think I'll end it here for today. A bit earlier than usual, but my throat tires, and I do have more reading to do tomorrow, technically, because, tomorrow's random games are going to be 2 visual novels, essentially. Look at your drawing. I don't know where your drawing is. Did you post it on the... Oh, you did. Oh, you kept on with the goddesses of the Elder Scrolls. Look at them. One is like a spider lady. Spooder lady. I like that. I liked it a little bit. And then there's just one with the... I assume the other one with the gem on her belt is another elven goddess, maybe. Looks like an elf. I'm assuming. The spider lady is canonically the Daedric Prince of Sex. Wow. Huh. I feel like I've seen this scenario somewhere. Spider woman and sex, huh? Seems... actually, maybe it's not that far off. Spiders do tend to have a lot of kids, don't they? So, it's not far-fetched, it's not far-fetched. She's a Black Widow. Oh, so she'll just straight up murk you too. Dangerous. Ooh, sorry. Let's see. Yeah, I'll end things off here. I shall bid thee farewell. I hope you all have a great rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, and nights, wherever and whenever you are. May the gods bless you. May the stars shine in your honor. And I hope to see you all whenever I see you all. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.